This is the Tack on Pulse, and today we are talking Firefly. As Alan Tudyk says, it's not over.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
Okay, so Alan Tudyk has just appeared on Katee Sackoff's podcast. So it's actually two of my favourite people. I love Katee Sackoff. She has the best smile in Hollywood, as far as I'm concerned, bar none. And Alan Tudyk, who just appears in everything, and I love him dearly.
Right.
You guys have such a tight relationship from Firefly.
Right.
We had Jewel on the show, and listening to you guys talk about each other, I know you and Nathan are still really close, and it's you guys have such a relationship. It's so similar to the relationship that we all have with each other on Battlestar.
In this interview, they cover loads. And actually, one of the things that made me a little bit sad was very early on in the video, he talks about how Resident Alien might be done.
A lot of contracts are 7 years or seven seasons, right?
Yes. I mean, we don't know. They tell us we don't know, but I feel like we know. I think it's less about the show, and if this is the last season, it's less about the show and more about broadcast television, because we're on broadcast television.
Yeah.
And that's over.
Yeah, a lot of the time, these shows, they have 7-year contracts or 7-season contracts, and the show has been running 7 years, thanks to COVID, etc., and the writer's strike. 4 seasons have took 7 years. It's shocking, really. But how many of the shows do we know have had a similar problem? He talks here about how, look, it's not cancelled. It might happen. But he says, I don't think it will. And to be honest, I would be gutted if this season is the final season. It is one of those shows that I just adore. And it's got that humour and the drama that, Firefly had as well, that I think is lacking in a lot of sci-fi at the moment. We talk about wanting to bring Stargate SG-1 back because of the drama and the humour. Well, we've got a show that's similar in Resident Alien. I hope it continues.
Firefly will be on again.
People are still clamoring. I talked to Jewel about this because people are still clamoring for it, and Serenity was not enough for them.
Yeah, no. It's not done. I rewatched it recently, and it holds up in such to where you finish it and go, why the hell was this canceled?
He straight up says it's not over. The fans are still clamoring for more sci-fi, more Firefly. And this is a guy that would know. And again, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that there have been rumours over and over again that I've been hearing that Disney would love via Fox to do this. That Fox let us down by cancelling this damn show. This glorious lightning in a bottle of a show. And maybe, just maybe, Disney are now willing to actually make up for that and bring something back.
I feel like Nathan could make that happen. I feel like there's not much that Nathan can't do.
I have his number still. We'll see. I feel like as long as Nathan's involved, it will happen.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion is vital for this to happen. I've been telling you this for a while. And Alan Tudyk agrees. It has to be something with Nathan Fillion. We have to get some of those old writers back. We have to get Joss Whedon, who he's going to talk about in a second. And if Nathan Fillion doesn't get too busy with the DC, and I actually don't think he will. I talked about this in another video and I was really worried. Look, the more he does with DC, the less likely this is going to happen. But having a couple of days to think about it, I do wonder actually if his appearances of Guy Gardner might be relatively small appearances. I don't think he's going to be getting his own movie, for example. I actually think it's more likely he will be bit parts within other movies. We know he's going to be appearing in the Green Lantern series, but I don't think it'll be a great deal. I suspect it's only going to be 1 or 2 episodes maybe. So that means just maybe, if he steps back from the Rookie even further than he already has done, or if that show comes to an end, I think it's already been lined up for one more season. But there is also a spin-off series that, that could go into. Nathan Fillion is executive producer for both of those projects, so he could, just manage rather than actually appearing. Then yeah, why couldn't they do a Firefly reboot? A continuation even. Alan Tudyk even mentions in this video that, look, you get as many of the actors back as you can. You bring in some new actors. I think there he's hinting basically of what we've said Disney would actually like to do and have a sort of Firefly the next generation eventually. And then, yeah, you bring as many of the writers, etc. back as possible. I actually think Alan Tudyk is really reiterating what I've been saying for the last couple of years. Have there been conversations? I've heard the rumours. Alan Tudyk even mentions at the start of this, am I dead? Which is something I dropped again over a year ago, saying that Nathan Fillion would love to do this, but he'd love to do it with his mate Alan.
Well, but you're dead.
Look, I don't know.
However Wash returns, I don't know. But I'd love to see what they think up.
It's on that you can only speak to your experience.
Yeah.
And so my experience was great. And a lot of people's experiences were great. When we made Firefly, which we, as far as we've all discussed, we all had a good time. That was all being done at the same time as Angel.
Yeah.
And at the same time as Buffy. So it was the same man.
Yeah.
I just think, there's a lot. It's a tricky subject.
I agree here with Alan Tudyk talking about Joss Whedon. A lot of people have said that the accusations against him are really serious, and they're not going to basically say that people like Charisma Carpenter or whatever are wrong. But what they're saying is, my experience of that, and Spike from Buffy, our, I want to say Marshall Masters. It's Masters. Oh, I forgot his full name. Marshall Masters is not him. But he's basically said, look, even though I got put up against a wall once by Joss Whedon, he's a very passionate man. I never saw the things that he's being accused of. Alan Tudyk is saying, and he's talked to the rest of the cast of Firefly, he said, we were just there having fun. Nobody got that drama. I do wonder if some of the problems on Buffy was because of executives up high putting more and more pressure on Joss. And at the end of the day, people do have a breaking point. Stress, lack of sleep, having your project bastardized by executives above, it would be enough to put anybody over the edge. And maybe that's what happened. We're all human at the end of the day, and we can all be not our best selves, particularly when the stress is involved. But Alan Tudyk talks about, look, Joss hasn't worked for a while. He'd love to work with him again. I've been told that Disney would be willing to bring Joss back in some form, at very least, for Firefly. And unlike Buffy, that apparently is totally owned by Fox, etc., and they don't have to involve him, Firefly isn't quite the same. And I think at least in some level they would have to include him if they did a reboot. I do wonder if maybe that's one of the reasons this isn't going any further than just conversations at the moment. So guys, get into the comments on what you think. Alan Tudyk is pretty much confirming what we've been talking about. He doesn't quite go as far as saying conversations have happened, but from what he's saying, he's hinting it quite a lot. So, tell me what you think. Particularly compared to what I've been saying for quite a while on this channel and then over at scitrek. Does this sound like this could happen? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and see loads more content just like this. 24 hours before everybody else sometimes. Go check that out. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.